Hello guys, welcome to logistic regression video. If you are new to the world of data science, you will learn a lot in this video. So let's go ahead and see what is the content of today's tutorial. First of all, we'll talk about regression. What is regression, why it is used, what is the difference between logistic regression and linear regression. Therefore, we will do data capture. Data capture, we will use a Titanic data set in today's tutorial. Okay, and we'll see how to download that data set. Therefore, we will analyze that data set. Okay, with respect to that, we will do some data cleaning as well. Therefore, we'll move to data modeling. Okay, and finally, we will do testing of the model data. So this is the content of today's tutorial. Let's move further and understand what is regression. So even before knowing logistic regression or linear regression, it is important to know what is regression. Okay, see, regression is a type of analysis in machine learning in which we try to analyze the relationship between a dependent variable and independent variable, and there could be many independent variables when we do this study. Okay, so just for example, if I'll say I want to predict that whether or not tomorrow it will rain, so now rain here becomes dependent variable because it could be dependent on some factors like temperature, humidity, wind speed, etc. Right? So there could be one dependent variable and there could be many independent variables, and we are doing a study among the relationship between these variables. Correct? So this is all about regression. Okay, and the whole idea behind regression is to understand that, like, what is the impact of value of some dependent variable if there is some change in value in independent variable. So let's say what would be the impact on rain if the temperature would increase or decrease. Okay, so this is a regressional study. Now there are many types of regression in the field of machine learning, but the two most important regression is linear regression and logistic regression. So we have already made a separate video on linear regression, and the link for that video is there in description box. Today we are going to talk about logistic regression. So let's go ahead and see what is the difference between linear regression and logistic regression. So first of all, the most important difference is that linear regression answers us the question in the form of how much. Okay, so for example, if I ask that how much would be the sales of this particular product, okay, and if I'll have to predict that, I'll have to make use of linear regression because I'm asking question in the form of how much. Okay, so these type of questions are answered using linear regression. Okay, so just for previous example of rain, temperature and humidity, in that example I can say what would be the temperature tomorrow, so that question would be answered in linear regression. Okay, whereas logistic regression answers as the question in the form of yes no, so it is kind of classification algorithm. Okay, so for example, I am asking you that whether or not it will rain tomorrow. Okay, so that question could be answered using logistic regression. Great. There are some other examples as well, whether or not my patient is sick, whether or not this customer will churn, and so on. So logistic regression has wide variety of application in the field of real world, business world, etc. Okay, so mathematically how does it differ from linear regression? We'll see that. Here you can see this is linear regression graph. Okay, and if you remember from our last video of linear regression, this is the equation of a straight line which resembles the equation of linear regression as well. Okay, here y is also called a dependent variable because it is dependent on the value of x. Okay, with some slope of the line. Okay, m is the slope of line and c is the bias or the intercept of the line. Correct. So this was about linear regression, and if you can see, this is a straight line, and why it is called continuous, since the prediction of y could be anywhere on this line, and a line is infinite, right? So the value of y could be anything, hence it is continuous. Whereas in case of logistic regression, the fact is that, see, this equation, if you see the equation of logistic regression is derived from this equation itself. Okay, so all these m and c is appearing here as well. Okay, so this beta naught is actually this c, and this b1 is actually m. Okay, so you can just assume that beta naught is c and b1 is m. Both are the same thing, just different letters are used here. Okay, so even this equation is derived from this equation. Okay, and but if you see, the value of y is between 0 and 1. Okay, so from here it is starting and there the end is there, and this is a curve. Okay, this looks like s, capital letter S. Okay, and if you compute any value of x in this equation, you will get value of y in between 0 and 1. Okay, now how do we calculate whether y is 0 or 1? Because I want the output in the form of 0 and 1. I want the answer in the form of yes or no, right? So if the value of y is less than or equal to 0.5, I'll say it is 0. Otherwise I can say it is 1. Okay, so this 0.5 becomes my boundary value where I am doing the separation, correct? So if something is less than this, then I'll say it is 0. If something is greater than this, I'll say it is 1. In that way we do prediction in logistic regression. So that's a little bit about maths in logistic regression. Let's go to Jupyter Notebook and do the actual modeling of logistic regression with Titanic dataset, okay, using Python. So here I am on my Jupyter Notebook, and this Jupyter Notebook along with the source file could be downloaded from the link which I have given in description box. Otherwise, Titanic dataset is really popular and you can download it from kaggle.com as well. So you can see I have done some heading here and some comments for the code which I am going to write now. I have not written any code actually, so this comment and heading is just for making the like session easier, okay, so that it will be easy to understand the code which I am going to write now. So okay, so first of all, the first thing we're gonna do is import some libraries, and whenever we are doing any sort of machine learning project, I'll recommend you to import these libraries blindly, okay, because these are mostly used in any sort of machine learning project. So I'll say import pandas as pd, import numpy as np, then import seaborn as sns, then import matplotlib, okay, dot pyplot as plt. So these are some basic libraries which is required for any machine learning project, okay, and as I said, you can blindly import that, okay, whether or not you are going to use it. Now it's time to load the data, so I'll say Titanic data, okay, that would be the name of my data frame. pd.read csv, since my data is in csv format, okay, and therefore I'll name my data set here Titanic, and then this is my data set, okay. So my data frame is created. Let's check what is the length of this data set. So I'll say len function, and inside that I'll make use of my data frame name. So I can see there are total 891 records in my data set, and this data set I am going to make use of it for making prediction regarding Titanic data set. We'll see what is there in this data, okay, and this particular data set will be used for train test split, doing modeling, etc. Great. So first of all, let's go ahead and see what is there inside my Titanic data frame. So I'll say Titanic data and then head, okay. So we can see this is the information about the passengers who were traveling in Titanic, okay, and there was a disaster with Titanic, and most of the passengers were died, okay. So this is the column survived, which tells us that whether or not passengers survived, okay, and the whole idea behind the study of this data is to know that what were those factors who contributed more towards the survival of the passengers. So whether it was age, whether it was gender, whether it was a class in which the passengers were traveling. Okay, so where these factors contributed more towards the survival or not. So this is the whole idea regarding the study of this data. Okay, and here we are going to make prediction about the survival of the passenger. So this would be my target column. This survived would be my target column. So we are going to predict whether or not passenger survived with respect to these variables: passenger ID, name of the passenger, okay, the class in which the passenger was traveling, the gender of the passenger, age, the number of siblings along with the passenger was traveling, the number of parents or children along with the passenger was traveling, the ticket number, the fare of the ticket, the cabin number in which the passenger was traveling and embarked, like the place from where the passenger has started their journey. So this is about the data, and the explanation regarding this data set is given here as well. And just a reminder, you can download this Jupyter notebook from the link which I have given in description box. Okay, so let's move ahead, and if you want to do further exploration with this data set, you can make use of other attributes and methods of a data frame. For example, if you can say Titanic data dot index to know about the index of the data. Okay, you can see this is a range index which starts from 0 and there are total 891 records. Okay, the step between index is 1. If you just want to know the name of the columns in your data, you can say Titanic data and columns. Okay, and that would provide you the name of the columns or features. Okay, you can go ahead and you can further say Titanic's data set dot info to know some more information about the columns. Okay, info is a method, so you'll have to put a parenthesis here. Here columns is an attribute, so you don't need to put a parenthesis, but info is an method, so is a method, so you have to put parenthesis here. Okay, run that, you'll get information about the different columns, the non-null count here, and the data type of that column. If you just want to know only the data type of the column, then you can say Titanic data dot d types, and that would give you the data type of the column. Okay, if you want to get some stats about the data, you can say Titanic data dot describe, and that you provide some stats about the data. So you can say it is giving count, mean, standard deviation, minimum value and the maximum value. Okay, great. So we have done the exploration of the data set. Okay, we have explained about different columns, what is the meaning of different columns. Okay, now we are moving ahead to data analysis. So for data analysis, we are going to make use of Seaborn. Okay, so for loading the data, what we used for loading the data, we used pandas. Now for data analysis, we are going to make use of Seaborn library, okay, which is used for visualization in Python. Great. So the first thing we're gonna do is to make use of count plot. Okay, using count plot, we will know that how many passengers survived and how many didn't survived. Okay, so I'll say SNS, which is short for Seaborn. Okay, dot count plot, it's super easy. And I'll say x is equal to the column which tells me that whether or not passenger survived. So this is the column, right, survived, and I'll put the value of x as survived, and therefore I'll say data is equal to Titanic data. Correct. So this is the syntax, guys, for doing plot with Seaborn. So you can just say x is equal to survived because you want to plot this data on x-axis, and the data set name is Titanic data. Okay, so that Seaborn will understand that from which data frame this column belongs to. That's why I need to pass a data attribute here additionally. Okay, great. So you can see that number of survived passengers is less than the number of not survived passengers, which tells about the tragedy. So most of the passengers actually died. Okay, but from this count plot I am not able to understand that how many male passengers survived and how many female passengers survived. So what I'll do, I'll make use of the same code Additionally, I'll make use of one parameter, okay, and I'll say hue is equal to okay, and the name of the column which tells me the passenger gender is sex, okay. So that would give me further breakup of the male passenger survived versus female passenger survived. So you can see that the orange bar here represents the female passenger and the blue bar represents here the male passengers, okay. So we can see that female passengers survived more, okay, and that's the conclusion we are making with this graph, this count plot. Okay, great. Let's go ahead and further to our data set. Let's find some null values, whether or not there is some null values. So what I'll say, Titanic data, okay, and I'll make use of isNA operator, isNA method, and that would tell me whether or not a particular value is null in my data set, okay. So you can see I'm getting some result in the form of true and false, okay. So wherever there is a false, which means there is no null value for this particular value here, okay. But if there is a true, okay, then that means this particular value here is null, okay. Now it is not giving me the idea that how many values are null actually here. So what I can do, just to figure out that how many values are null, I can make use of the same code Titanic data.isNA, okay, with further to I can make use of sum. I'll sum these null values, okay, and I'll get the output like this. So I can see in passenger ID column, the survived column, there are no null values. So null values are there in age column actually, okay, and there are 687 null values, which is huge in cabin column, and there are 2 null values, only 2 in inbound column as well, okay. So later in data wrangling section we'll go and see how to deal with these null values, okay. So for now I would like to tell you that you can even visualize these null values, how strongly these null values are there in your data set, by making use of heat map. So if you just say SNS, which is seabond dot heat map, okay, and inside that if you'll pass this code Titanic data dot is null is NA, okay, and if you'll run that, you will see the heat map for null values, okay. So you can see the null values are strongly in appearing strongly in cabin column, whereas it is there in age column as well, but it is not so strong, okay. So this is the way we visualize null values in our data set, okay. Now in order to make the conclusion about null values, whether or not we are going to delete these null values or discard these null values, okay, or we are going to impute this column, so these things depends on the percentage of null values these are appearing in my column, okay. So let's say if the null values percentage is more than 30% in a particular column, I would like to discard that, because it won't be easier to compute that impute that null values, okay. And uh, this could make me problematic, that like our model could be overfitting if we will try to impute these kind of columns which contains null values more than 30%. So that is the case for cabin column. We can see there are so many null values. So first of all, let's go ahead and see how many percentage of null values are there, okay. So in order to find the percentage of null values in a particular column, I'll first have to check that how many null values are there. So I can say Titanic data, okay, and then the particular column in which I want to find the null values, so that is my age column, okay. And if you'll run just this line, you can see this particular age column is being displayed here, right. So I just want to check the null values, so I'll say is NA, okay, and I'll run it again, so I'll get some true false value, right. If I'll do a sum of it, then I'll get total sum of null values, okay, and that is 177. If I'll divide this 177, so I am dividing this by total number of records, which I know 891, otherwise I can say length of this Titanic data age, okay, then I'll get this result. And in order to convert this into percentage, I'll just multiply this by 100, right. So I'll multiply this by 100, and I can see there are around 20% null values in each column. So with this we can make conclusion that we can impute some value in our age column, okay, so that null would not appear, since the null values are 20% which could be imputed. But in case of Kevin column, let's make use of the same code here. Just to replace the age with the Kevin, I'll say this Kevin, and here as well Kevin. Okay, I can see 77% values are null, so it is not a good decision to impute this particular column because it is huge. Okay, so what we will do later in the data wrangling section, we will discard this column, we'll try to impute this. Okay, we'll see it a bit later. Now just wanted to tell you that for any column which is numerical, okay, you can make use of distribution plot. So here I am going to make use of age column and plot a distribution plot here in order to estimate that what was the age of the passenger or those were traveling in the ship. Okay, so if I'll say SNS dot dist plot, okay, and I'll have to say x is equal to age, okay, and data is equal to Titanic data. Okay, and that would provide me a distribution plot of age which tells me that what was the age, like from which particular age group most number of the passengers were traveling. So I can see the age group was 15 to 40, okay, and between 15 to 40 age customer, those were traveling, most number of passengers were traveling in the ship, right? But I can see there were also some children as well, there are some aged passengers as well. Okay, so using distribution plot we can estimate the like concept behind a numerical column like this. Okay, so let's move further and do some data cleaning now. So first of all, we'll do the we'll fill some value in age column. So what we'll do, we'll impute some values. So we'll impute that using mean of the age. Okay, so in order to find, okay, in order to find the mean of a column, what we'll do, we'll first make use of that column. So I'll say Titanic data, and then I'll make use of age here. Okay, I can see the age column here. In order to find the mean of the age column, I'll say mean, okay, and thereby I am getting the mean of the age column. Now wherever there is a null value in age column, I am going to impute that by this mean. Okay, so the method with which we fill the null value is called fill_na. Okay, so what I am gonna do, Titanic data, and I want to fill the null values in age column, so I'll say age here. Okay, and then I'll make use of fill_na method. Okay, fill_na, let me just get this. Okay, fill_na, and therefore I gonna impute this using the mean. So I'll just cut this, okay, and paste it here. Okay, and in order to make this change permanent, I'll have to say in place is equal to true. Okay, so this is the syntax. Remember to make use of in place equal to true, and with this my null values in age column is imputed. We can verify that by just saying Titanic age dot is na, okay, and then submit. So we can see there are no null values any longer in the age column. We can even visualize this by making use of heat map again. So I can say SNS dot heat map, okay, and therefore this code, okay, we need to run this for entire data frame. It doesn't work for a particular column. Okay, so we can see it here, no longer null values are there in age column, but still we have null values in Kevin column. Okay, so as I said, we are not going to make use of Kevin column, so we will discard this column. And how to discard or delete a column from data frame, we'll see that. What we'll do, we'll say Titanic data, okay, dot drop for dropping a row or column. Okay, so if you want to drop a column, write the name of that. So I'll say Kevin column. Okay, and if we want to drop a column, we'll say axis is equal to 1. Otherwise for rows it is 0, okay, for column it is 1. and in order to make this change permanent, I'll say in place is equal to true. Okay, and this would drop the Kevin column from my data frame. Okay, so in order to verify that whether or not this Kevin column is dropped, we'll see the contents of data frame again. So I'll say data frame dot head. Okay, and I can see the Kevin column is no longer appearing here anymore. Okay, now as you can see that there are some string columns like name, sex, okay, then ticket number and embarked. These are the columns which couldn't be accepted by sklearn. Since our model doesn't accept any string column, we will have to convert these values to some dummy values. Okay, like for male we can say 0101, okay, for male and female. Otherwise we'll have to delete the column which is not required to us. Okay, so this is we're gonna do. First of all, we'll check for the numeric and non-numeric column. So what we can do, we can make use of either info method. So I'll say Titanic data dot info, and that would give me information about the numeric and non-numeric column. Here you can see the data type. Otherwise you can just say d types. Okay, so I can say d types, and that would give me information about the data type of the particular column. Okay, so it seems name, sex, ticket and embarked are non-numerical column, and it seems that name, embarked and ticket number are not so useful for our prediction. Hence we will eventually drop it. For now we are going ahead and see how to convert sex column to dummies numerical values. So in order to convert a string column to dummies numerical value, we will use method called get dummies. So I'll say pd, which is short for pandas dot get dummies. Okay, inside that I'll pass the name of the column for which I want dummies value. So in my case it is Titanic data and the sex column, right? So when I run this, we can see that we are getting two different columns now. One is female and one is male. So because this sex column contains two distinct values, female and male. Okay, that's why we are getting two different columns. And if you see in case of female column, 0 is for the male and 1 is for female, correct? In case of male it is reverse of that. So both the columns are same and only one of them could be used for our prediction. So both of these are not required. Hence what we'll do, we'll drop one of them. Okay, in order to drop one of them, I'll say drop first is equal to true, and that would drop the first one of these. Okay, so now we only have the male column, correct? And what we'll do, we'll add this particular column to our data frame. Okay, and we'll drop this sex column. Okay, so sex column is non-numerical, it would be dropped, and this column, which is now dummies categorical value, would be included in our data set. Okay, so let me just call this as gender. Okay, so gender is equal to pd dot get dummies Titanic data set 6 and drop first equal to true. Okay, I have ran this and I'm going ahead and using this particular value to add one more column in my data frame. So what I'll say, Titanic data, and therefore let me name the new column as gender. Okay, and that is equal to this gender, right? So this new column is added to our data frame, and let's go and verify that whether or not this column was added. So I can say Titanic data dot columns. Okay, and that would provide me the name of the columns. Okay, we can see gender is now added. In order to see the values, we can say Titanic data dot head, and that would provide us the value in the data set. Great. So we can see that now gender column is added, and for male it is 1, the encoding is 1, for female it is 0. So now this particular column is ready for inputting this as machine learning data set, correct? Great. So we are going ahead and dropping all the columns which are not required as of now for our prediction. Okay, later you can try yourself and can impute some data, and what you can work on feature engineering and get some additional data from these columns. But for now I am going ahead and dropping this name column, this sex column, because we have already used feature engineering and created one additional column here, which is equivalent to sex column. Okay, we are going ahead and dropping this name, sex, this ticket number and embarked. Okay, so these columns we are going to drop. So what we'll say, I'll say Titanic data dot drop, and we have already learned how to drop a column. So now in this case we have multiple columns. Okay, so we will drop these many things. First of all, name, so let me write name here. Okay, therefore we're gonna go ahead and drop this sex, so let me just copy this as well. Okay, and therefore we're gonna go ahead and drop the ticket number. Okay, so let me just drop this as well. Okay, and therefore this embarked column. So we are dropping these, and as I said that later you can try yourself and you can use other feature engineering methods. You can derive some more features information from these columns. Okay, but for now we are going ahead to drop, and for columns we will say x is equal to 1 and we'll make in place equal to true. Okay, that would drop these columns permanently. Great. So it seems these columns are dropped now. Let's verify that by seeing the contents of this data set. Okay, once more time, I'll say head, and now we have fully numerical value in our data set, which is passenger ID, survived, passenger class, okay, age, number of siblings along with the passenger is traveling, the number of parents or children along with the passenger is traveling, okay, the fare for the ticket and the gender. So all these columns we are going ahead and will input this, will use these features for our prediction now. Okay, now this survived column is our target variable, and other columns are our features. Okay, so we'll separate our dependent and independent variables. So first of all, let me just say independent variable is y and dependent variable is x. Okay, so I have two variables x and y now. So what is my dependent variable? Dependent is Titanic data and this is survived column, right? So let me just take survived here in dependent variable, and for independent variable I have Titanic data and these many columns, passenger ID. So let me just take passenger ID first. Okay, and inside this I'll write passenger ID. Therefore I'll make use of P class, which is passenger class. Okay, age. Okay, and similarly rest other columns, this and this, right? So let me just copy that as well and paste it here. Okay, so this comma this comma this, and let me just include this into quotation. So this is inside quotation, this is inside quotation. Okay, and now our dependent and independent variable is created. Okay, let's verify that. I'll say x and just hit enter. I can see the dependent variable, independent variable here. Okay, and if I'll say y, we will see independent variable here. Great. Now we are moving ahead. We have done data analysis, we have done data wrangling or data cleaning, and now we are going ahead with the data modeling. Okay, so in order to build any data model, we will make use of sklearn, okay, which is scikit-learn of Python. Okay, and the first thing we're gonna do is to import the train test split method. Okay, we are going ahead and splitting this data set into train and test set. Okay, so let me just do that. I'll say from sklearn dot dot, it is inside model selection. Okay, so model selection import train test split. Okay, so this method is now imported and we'll use this method train test split for doing train test split. Now if you want to see the signature of this method, you can just press shift tab from your keyboard and that will show you the signature for this method. Okay, so I can see the train test split here. If you want, you can just copy this particular example from here. Okay, it says x train, x test, y train, y test is equal to train test split, and there is some value for random state and test size as well. So let me just grab that and copy it here. Okay, so going ahead, and let me just copy it. Okay, you can type yourself, no worries. Okay, and in our case the dependent variable and independent variable is a small x and a small y, so I'll say small x, a small y. Okay, so let me just change this case so that it would be easier to read it. Okay, great. So this is our train test split. We can see the test size in this split would be 33%, which is the default as well. Okay, let me just do that. The train test split is now done. We are going ahead and importing logistic regression now. So I'll say from sklearn dot linear model. Okay, it's not giving the autocomplete, so let me type a bit more. Oh, I imported sk image, sorry. So from sklearn dot linear model, okay, import logistic regression. Okay, so logistic regression, great. Now I am going ahead and creating an instance of logistic regression. So I'll say logistic regression, which is LR, is equal to logistic regression. Okay, and we have created an instance of logistic regression. Okay, now let me train our model. So I'll say LR dot fit. Okay, and I'll give our training data set here. So I'll say X train, okay, which we are going to make use for training, and we'll make use of Y train. Okay, so these are the variables for the training data set, and it says that when the value of x is this, the value of y is this. Okay, in this way we are going to train our data set. Okay, just run that, and you can ignore this warning, no worries. Okay, and our data set is trained now. Great. We are going ahead and making some predictions. So we'll say predict is equal to, okay, you can make use of any other variable name here, not a problem. So I'll say lr dot predict. Okay, and then I'll provide the testing data set name here. So I'll say x test. Correct? Great. So in this way we are going ahead and doing prediction for that. Okay, and the prediction has been done. Great. So everything is done. Our data analysis is done, data cleaning is done, data modeling is even done. Now it's time for testing the data, that how the performance is for the modeled data. Okay, so the first thing we want to do is to print a confusion matrix. Okay, so for that we will do from sklearn dot matrix import confusion matrix. And what is that? We'll explain that now. Okay, first of all we imported confusion matrix. So what we're gonna do is to print this confusion matrix. So I'll just copy this confusion matrix. Okay, and therefore our y test variable and prediction we have done. Okay, so we can see some confusion matrix is printed here, but this is not readable. So I'll just do little bit of code here to make this readable. So what I'll say, pd dot data frame, I'll create a data frame here. Okay, then confusion matrix, and inside that I'll make use of some columns. Okay, and I'll write predicted no. Okay, and predicted yes. That is our prediction. Okay, and I'll say this is columns. There are two columns in this matrix, as you can see, and two indexes are there. So I'll say index is equal to actual no and actual yes. Okay, and let me just print this. Let me just close this bracket. Okay, now this confusion matrix is readable. Okay, in actual case we call it true positive, true negative, but just for sake of understanding we are saying it predicted no, predicted yes. So what is happening here, this is our prediction. So our model has predicted this as no, so these many passengers didn't survive. Okay, and these many have survived. So what's happening here? This is the prediction by our model that these many not survived, and these are actually not survived, so this is correct. Okay, again, these many passengers our model predicted that have not survived. Okay, sorry, have survived but they didn't survive actually. Okay, so this is incorrect. Now these many passengers our model predicted, okay, that didn't survive. Okay, but they are actually survived. Okay, and here these many passengers have actually survived, and our model as well predicted that they survived. So this is kind of prediction like this way. If you will read, this is predicted no and this is predicted yes. Okay, and the actual value of that, and this is all confusion matrix. Okay, so from this you can just guess that what would be the performance of our model. But in order to check the accuracy, you have to import the classification report. Okay, so what we'll do, we'll import classification report. Okay, so from sklearn.matrix we'll say import classification report. Okay, and let me just print the classification report here. I'll say print classification report. Okay, and inside that I'll say y test and our predicted variables, so that is predict. Okay, sorry, this was not imported actually. Okay, so we can see the classification report now, and there is something precision, recall, accuracy. Okay, now precision is the matrix we're gonna make use of in this case, and considering this data set and the model we have used, logistic regression, we can use more advanced model as well, random forest. Okay, and the feature engineering, we can improve this precision score, but this is fine considering the model selected and the data available with us. Okay, now what is precision? Precision is the ratio of correctly predicted positive observations to the total predicted positive observations. Okay, and recall is the ratio of correctly predicted positive observations to the all observations in actual F1 score. Okay, so great. So our precision is around 0.78, which is good for the moment. Okay, so this is all for the Titanic survival data, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Just a reminder, you can download this data set and this Jupyter notebook from the link which I have given in description box. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in next video.